can count on us.
Save $5 on USDA standing rib roast, only $14.99 per pound. Great for Christmas dinner broccoli crowns, just $3.99 per pound. Trappy's Sugary Sam's sweet potatoes, only $1.79 for a 15-ounce tin. Ocean Spray cranberry sauce for your Christmas turkey, only $1.99 for a 14-ounce tin. Blue Bonnet margarine sticks, just $1.79 for a 1-pound package. Visit our website at www.marketplace.bm for more weekly specials.
You can count on us.
Live from Bermuda Broadcasting, this is ZBM TV9 News.
Good evening, everyone. It's Tuesday, December the 12th, 2017. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us tonight. Word tonight that a teacher accused of molesting a 17-year-old a decade ago will be extradited from the U.S. to face charges in Bermuda. According to an Alabama media outlet, WAF.com, a federal judge ruled in favor of a request from Bermuda to extradite a former Huntsville elementary school teacher facing sexual abuse allegations. The individual in question, who cannot be identified for legal reasons, is said to have fled the island to the U.S. after being accused of molesting the student in 2007. It's been reported that the whereabouts of the individual was unknown until 2011. In other news, a warning to senators tonight that a yes vote on the domestic partnership bill may well derail the island's tourism efforts. It comes from Kevin Dallas, CEO of the Bermuda Tourism Authority. Mr. Dallas writing to senators tonight, urging them to vote no. Letter posted on the BTA's corporate website alerts senators to the possibility that the passing of the domestic partnership bill could have negative consequences for the local tourism product. Mr. Dallas pointing to the passage of the so-called bathroom bill in North Carolina, which he says cost the state $196 million in tourism business, with a fallout expected to last well into 2019 and 2020. Mr. Dallas states with same-sex marriage already on the law books, rolling it back for what will be seen as a less equal union will cause the island serious reputational damage, and the BTA, he adds, is convinced it will result in lost tourism business for the island. Mr. Dallas argues that LGBT travel accounts for $165 billion spent worldwide, $65 billion being spent in the U.S., and if the bill were to be passed in the upper house, it could derail the 7 consecutive quarters of growth enjoyed by the Bermuda tourism industry and deprive the Bermudian workers and businesses who drive the island's tourism sector of their fair share of the LGBT market. Meanwhile, we reached out to Jamal Simmons, the Minister for Tourism and Economic Development, for comment on the situation, but he declined to do so until he has had time to consider the contents of the letter from Mr. Dallas to members of their upper house. In other news, yet another change in management at the Elbow Beach Hotel as Ed Burns, the owner's representative and now former general manager, part ways with the South Shore facility. Now concerns being expressed about the fate of the more than 100 workers employed there. Gary Moreno has that story.
It had been rumored that now former general manager at the Elbow Beach Resort, Ed Burns, was forcibly removed from his position. But we've now confirmed that Mr. Burns opted not to renew his contract, which we understand was due to expire soon. This, we're told, has opened the door for a local company identified to us as Elbow Beach Services Limited to take over management at the hotel. The new management company, we're told, comes under the MEF Group. The move, sources tell us, is being considered a last-ditch effort to keep the Elbow Beach Resort open. Our source contends consideration was being given to shutting the place down before the MEF Group became involved. The facility employs some 110 staff, 95% of whom are Bermudian. It's understood every effort is being made to keep all staff on, but this, we're told, will be based on performance and conduct. Mr. Burns took over the 90-room facility in April of 2014 following the departure of the Mandarin Group, with plans to make the Paget location a major player on the local hospitality scene. However, the main hotel has not been occupied by guests for an extended period, with only the guest cottages being used. Attempts to reach management at the MEF Group for comment have so far been unsuccessful. Our source describing the situation as not being healthy, with staff wondering how the situation will turn out with the change in management. Elsewhere, we've been advised the workers' union representatives have been advised of the change in management. They were scheduled to attend a meeting at the BIU headquarters today, which was called for all hotel workers, with the hope that the situation will be discussed at that time. Gary Moreno, Reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
This holiday, bake with ShopRite vegetable margarine. $1.59 for a 1-pound package. Serve your guests ShopRite soda, only $2.59 for a 2-liter bottle. Stuff your holiday turkey with ShopRite turkey stuffing, $2.39 for a 6-ounce box. Just $1.49 for a 16-ounce box of ShopRite elbow macaroni. Only $1.09 for a 12-ounce tin of ShopRite regular or skim evaporated milk. Pick up your ShopRite holiday flyer for more super savings from all our marketplace stores.
Santa suits,
And party hats.
letters sent.
Gifts neatly wrapped.
It must be Christmas. Let the magic begin.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Colonial, where people come first.
Make your Christmas even more beautiful and stunning with arrangements from Exclusive Flowers located in the Washington Mall and dazzling decor from Exclusive Home on Reed Street. Wishing you happy holidays and a prosperous new year from the Exclusive Group of Companies.
Blurry-eyed following your eye appointment? Had one too many? Or simply too tired to face the drive home at the end of a long night? There are lots of reasons why you couldn't and shouldn't get behind the wheel. Introducing HomeSafe from Security Associates, the island's only car and driver home delivery service. Reschedule with us and a HomeSafe driver will deliver you and your car right to your door. Whatever your reason for not driving, you can always get HomeSafe. Call 298-2626 for pricing and to find out how you can become a member or visit HomeSafeBermuda.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. A healthy and lively debate anticipated in the upper house tomorrow with the decriminalization of small amounts of marijuana being overshadowed by 2 major bills. Here's more from the OBA Senate leader, Nandy Outerbridge.
Tomorrow will be our last Senate session for this new year, and we'll be breaking after this and then coming back to budget. So tomorrow is quite the big day for Senate. We have quite a bit of items on the agenda.
Big items.
Big items, yes, there are some big items. I think 2 of the biggest items that everyone will be watching to see what the debate's going to be like will be mostly on the gaming piece and as well as the domestic partnership. Those are the 2 larger items that people are really going to be trying to see what's going on, who's voting for what.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the independents lean towards.
Absolutely, it's going to be very interesting to see where they lean. I think particularly with the domestic partnerships, that one has been quite a bit in the media. We've even seen some international media coverage on it. So it's going to be interesting to see this time around when we kind of first debated civil unions, which was a similar bill to the domestic partnerships. Marriage equality was not in place at that time. Now we're in the process of marriage equality being in place, and this bill coming actually takes rights away from humans. So it's going to be interesting to see where people now start to lean and what the arguments become when it comes to domestic partnerships.
Sure. A few other issues as well, parks and health.
Yeah, the parks issues are basically just some housekeeping, some cleaning up with some fees, and health as well, just putting some things in place that haven't been all this time to just continue to move forward in those processes.
And decriminalization of marijuana.
Yeah, decriminalization of small possession of marijuana is also going to be a good debate tomorrow. I think this was something that was brought to Parliament in May. It just never got to sit in Senate. So it's been through Parliament again on Friday. It's coming back to Senate. So I don't see that passing with any issues, to be honest.
So should Bermuda elect its own MP to sit in the British House of Commons? It has been a long-running debate, and one leading British MP says yes, this should be the case. MP Andrew Rosendale renewed this call when he addressed a dinner gathering in London recently, organised by the UK charity Friends of the British Overseas Territories. The Conservative politician believes it's wrong for the territories to continue not to have their voice heard in London. Tarai Trott brings us this report.
and allow the Prime Minister to use the royal prerogative, as we have always done before.
British MP Andrew Rosendahl told the gathering it is time for the overseas territories to be treated as full members of what he called the British family, and stated it was wrong for the territories to be dealt with by the Foreign Office through 3 separate ministers, as the territories, he says, are not foreign. Mr. Rosendahl, who visited the island in 2011 on a fact-finding mission and caused a stir when he called for the Union Jack to be flown on Front Street, believes the 14 overseas territories should elect their own MPs to sit in the British House of Commons or the upper chamber, the House of Lords. He has even called for local people from each of the territories to be appointed to the Prime Minister's cabinet. On the point of greater representation in London, based on the population of the territories, he suggested 9 of the territories and Crown dependencies, including Bermuda, should each elect 1 MP to the House of Commons, the primary legislative body. The same, he says, could be done for the junior House of Parliament, the UK House of Lords, which he believes could more easily absorb 9 extra members with its current size of 850 members. However, the Tory MP does note some resistance to the idea of greater representation among a small number of British civil servants who feel their position will be threatened, but points out that mindset is slowly dying out, and such a change would not affect the political systems already in place in the overseas territories. Currently, France, the United States, and the Netherlands allow for a number of their overseas possessions to elect members to their Houses of Parliament, with French overseas departments being fully integrated with the mainland. Mr. Rosendahl pledges he will continue to apply pressure in London on the issue, as he believes it is wrong for Westminster to ultimately be responsible for British possessions overseas, who currently have no voice or say on how they are governed. Some observers welcoming the idea, particularly since it would give Bermuda and the territories a chance to counter frequent attacks in the House of Commons over claims the islands are tax havens. Tarai Trott reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
There are 14 overseas territories spanning 5 continents with a population of 250,000 people. Meantime, Gary speaking with Patricia Gordon-Pamplin, the Shadow Minister for Home Affairs, who's not happy with the way government is handling the settlement of the waterfront dispute. It all stems from reports in the media that the current minister allegedly sought an intervention when he was in opposition.
The concern is that very recently there have been allegations in the press that during the time that contract had been negotiated and vitiated, that the now minister had involvement with the developer, Mr. McLean, that he had agreed to represent him in pursuing this matter to bring it to some kind of conclusion. Mr. McLean had indicated that this was done for a fee, and I asked the questions in Parliament a couple of weeks ago. The minister then said that he had no involvement, no negotiations with Mr. McLean.
In other news this evening, Smith's North MP Michael Dunkley has welcomed a statement in the House by Levita Fogo, the Minister for Government Reform, over progress in negotiations between government and trade unions. However, speaking to Gary Moreno, Mr. Dunkley was not pleased with what he viewed as the politicizing of the issue.
I was pleased to see the Minister bring this statement to the floor of the Honourable House, and I was surprised at the lack of detail that was in it. I was very disappointed with the overtly political nature part of the statement and the prevarication in there, where I refer specifically to the Minister's comments that there was no formal mandate provided to the public sector negotiating team. Now, we need to understand that the public sector negotiation team did not change when the governments changed. So the same people there. There was a formal mandate provided. There was no financial mandate provided, and I made that clear when I spoke on the floor of the House. And the reason why the financial mandate couldn't be tied up was simply because government has been in a precarious financial position for some time.
Turning to weather news, a few showers and strong winds for our Wednesday. Here's the latest from AccuWeather headquarters.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
The BF&M Insurance Group is pleased to bring you tonight's AccuWeather forecast. I'm your AccuWeather meteorologist, Daji Aswad, and I hope everyone's having a good evening. Here's a look at our satellite. We saw some cool temperatures last night after that front passed through, we were in the 50s, and that hasn't been seen since last spring. So that's just how cool it was. As we head into tonight, that front moves out of our area, continues to move away. We have a weak high pressure helping keeping things dry here for today into tonight. And then our next system from the states pushes its way right in, and then we're back into a wet pattern. As for our current conditions, we're looking at a temperature of 68 degrees across the island, humidity around 75%, winds out of the southeast 8 to 12 knots, and our water temp about 71 degrees. Waves in the reef, we're expecting 1 to 2 feet, waves out 5 to 8 feet. So we will begin to see some windy conditions as these next front rolls through, and we expect to have some small craft warnings in effect. In fact, today we have a small craft warning, so if you're out there, be sure to take caution. There will be some very breezy conditions ahead with these frontal boundaries. Tonight, mostly cloudy and windy with a brief shower or two expected, cooling down into the 60s for tonight. As for tomorrow, we'll have intervals of clouds and sun passing, but it's still going to be windy. That front pushes through and makes its way here by midday, and that's when it's going to be really breezy, especially in those morning hours. We'll be reaching a high of 72 degrees, low of 63. Once again, we will see showers. It won't be a complete washout, but it will definitely be an uptick in the wet weather. And for all you boaters out there, here's a look at our high tides. High tide number 1 expected was seen today at 4:22 p.m. The next one is expected at 4:57 a.m. on your Wednesday. Once again, we do expect some small craft warnings to remain in effect into your Thursday. And if those winds continue, they could be extended, so keep that in mind if you're headed out on the waters. And if you're getting away, here is a look at some other cities around the world. Toronto, 21 cold degrees, the low expected to be 7, definitely on the brisk side there. Even cold in New York as well. Not as cold as Toronto, of course, at 34 for New York's high, 25 for the low. As for Miami, some sunshine down there, 69 degrees for the high, 48 for the low. And as for London, topping off at 48 degrees with a low of 38. And also looking at some wet weather possible out there. And if you're headed across the Caribbean, here's a current look at Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad. Jamaica seeing some showers. The same frontal system that will be affecting us, tail end down there, bringing in a lot of moisture. 84 degrees in Jamaica for today's high. 75 will be the expected low. Barbados seeing some sunny conditions. Trinidad, some moisture down there, and some peaks of sunshine throughout the day. And as we head into your extended forecast, here's what we're looking at. Wet weather for much of this week, and that's because we do have these rounds of fronts continuing to make their way in. Thursday will be a little break from that, but some moisture is sticking around in the area, so that's why we can still see some spotty showers. As we head into Friday, that's when our next frontal system comes again. We're going to have rounds of frontal systems coming off the United States, and that's going to once again bring us some upticks in cloudy weather here across the island. That's going to lead into Saturday as well. And then your Sunday also looking on the cloudy side, moisture still sticking around, and that's going to cool us down as well. See that temperature 69 degrees, no longer in the 70s, and that's just because of the cooler air behind that frontal system. And for all your news and updates, be sure to stay tuned to Ocean 89, Power 95, and Inspire 105.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
Christmas in Bermuda is a special time for most of us. Unfortunately, for some families in Bermuda, there is no warm Christmas. This year, many families will be in need. It's the 29th anniversary of the Lions Clubs of Bermuda and the Marketplace helping share the Christmas spirit, so let's help take care of each other. Shop at any marketplace, shopping center, Modern Mart, or A1 stores and purchase extra tins and non-perishable items. Once you have purchased these items, place your food donations into Santa's bin located at the front of the store. The Lions Clubs will collect your food contributions and assemble them into hampers to be delivered to the families in need around the island. Christmas comes once a year. Help make it a special time for every family in Bermuda. Sponsored in part by the Bermuda Broadcasting Company and the Royal Gazette.
Your home, your life, security. Be fire and burglar free. Right from your phone, control. Lock safes, doors, gates, business, family safe. You're on the go, and that's okay. BSG with you every
Bermuda Security Group, your security, life safety, and monitoring experts. We're with you every step of the way. Bermuda Security Group, BSG.BM.
Well, when we think of our ideal car for basic transportation, we might normally think big and classy, but one entrepreneur is hoping to change the mindset of the motoring public by placing an emphasis on small and ultra-efficient. Rye Trott has a look at what could be a mini revolution.
A new style of mini cars in Bermuda, and they're electric. The brainchild of entrepreneur Michael Swan of Local Motion Limited, who has put his stock on sale.
Back, I'll give you a little bit of throttle.
The only thing is, selling his cars was never part of his plan.
The whole business model behind Local Motion was to tap into the rental car market. So we bought in 3 cars. We've met all the criteria to get our permit, but right now there's a temporary hold on issuing permits by the government. They're conducting just a review of transportation, which is due to be complete by next April. So hopefully by next April, we'll be renting.
The inability to rent his vehicles has meant he had to change his business plan.
It's definitely a major disappointment. I mean, we've turned down employment, which is kind of unfortunate. But my whole business model is based on renting. So we just have to rethink, readjust until this review is finished, and hopefully, by next April, we'll be up and running with it.
He believes the vehicles are a good low-cost option for those wanting a basic and efficient form of transportation, or a second car if they have additional assessment number.
The Bermuda 200 and the Bermuda 400. The Bermuda 200 is a 2-seater. The Bermuda 400 is a 4-seater. It's really a 2+2 because it is kind of cramped in the back seat. So we're looking to sell our cars now because we can't rent yet. Well, what I found, right? I mean, the response to the car has been off the charts, and the kind of people that are taking an interest, a lot of expats, seniors, people who have a second assessment number, and they don't want their kids riding a bike on the road. There are some people who just will not ride a bike, and this car is perfect because it's small, it's compact, it's A-class, it's inexpensive to operate. Reversing camera, so we're going back here, you can see it.
As far as features go, the cars sport
air conditioning, reverse camera, MP5, USB, Bluetooth, GPS.
Mini cars have been a hit among visitors to the island, a market Mr. Swan is keen to enter just as soon as he wins approval from the government.
We've had calls from numerous bed and breakfast properties. Also, one of the major hotels that's being built here, I won't say which one, they approached us about our cars. There's definitely interest in Burmese, definitely.
And that was Rye Trott reporting. The cars Mr. Swan sells start from just over $14,000 and can even be fitted with a solar panel option on the roof. You can find out more on localmotionbda.com. Now let's join Earl Bazin with the latest from the sports desk.
Smith continue competing in the 47th edition of the Youth Sailing World Championships going on in China. Smith, competing in the laser radar feat, is among 50 other competitors. At the conclusion of day 2, Smith finds himself down 2 spots from his starting position of 36 and now has 95 net points. Smith ended the first race of the day in the third of the series in 46 before crossing the line 32nd in the second and final race of the day. Meanwhile, an apprenticeship opportunity has arisen for Mustafa Ingham, an aspiring professional sailor, to compete in the Volvo Ocean Race. Mustafa's mother, Mandy Ingham, explains the journey for her son thus far.
Over the last couple of years, it's just been life-changing. Every month evolving as well. As I look at the pictures, I constantly look back on the pictures of when he was first trying out with his number 7 on his thing on a piece of tape, and him sitting on the cycling, just trying out to see if he had what it took to actually enter this race. And I look at that picture and I look at the picture of who he is today, and I watched what I thought was a young man truly step into his manhood, and not just physically, but just spiritually, mentally. He has really upped his game, and it was just such a wonderful thing to see him step into his greatness, his future potential, and actually living his dreams.
Tonight's sports is brought to you by the all-new Boundary at Fairmount, Southampton, the West End's only sports bar. Catch all the action and enjoy smoked to perfection barbecue, beer, and other pub favorites. It's game on at Boundary.
The Sports Awards nomination deadline is fast approaching, and Jacon Ednes, the Senior Development Officer at the Department of Youth, Sport and Recreation, explains where the forms can be picked up, and he also has this plea to the public.
Nomination forms can be found at head office, which is at Craig Appenhouse in Hamilton, also at the Pro Shop, International Sports Shop, and Sports Locker. The deadline is January 5th, 2018 for this year's nominations, and the main thing is just to sell your athlete. If you're nominated someone, put in pictures and certificates and different things like that to sell your athlete so that they could get the recognition that they deserve for putting in the hard yards for the year of 2017.
This coming Sunday, the Sands Parish Council will honor Jay Donowa with a 5K road race. Council member Camda Bean explains how the council came up with this particular idea.
Yes. What happened was, once Jay had won the race, May 24th, we decided that we should honor him. And it wasn't just primarily for him winning, it was actually due to his determination, perseverance, and keeping on going to be the actual winner.
Donowa said he's extremely honored to have this race in his name.
When Camda came to me about the proposal way back in June, I indicated that I'll be off the island for the summer, and I'll be returning in September. So she was like, well, we'll put something together. And during the course of that time, she hit me up once or twice, said they're still working on some things. And then the wheels went in motion in regards to having a race, which isn't something that I didn't think it was going to go in that avenue. But however, I'm extremely humbled and honored by that. And now, like I can tell my good friend Jacon Ednes and my uncle Joe, I didn't get to ride on the white horse after winning cup match, but at least got something similar but different. Yeah.
Darry Rollins and his Sydney Cricket Club teammates will take on Southern in the Kingsgrove Sports 2020 Thunder Conference Final. As we reported yesterday, Rollins and his Sydney Cricket Club teammates defeated Gordon Cricket Club in a super over after both teams were out for 143 in their semi-final match at Chestwood Oval. Rollins and his teammates will now take on Southern in that Thunder Conference Final on Sunday, December 17th at 2:30 p.m. Paralympian Jessica Lewis won the 2017 Brock University Accessibility and Inclusion Award. Zanawi Bowen and Jonna James represented the Thomas College indoor track and field team that opened their 2017-18 indoor season at the USM Open hosted by the University of Southern Maine. Bowen competed in the men's 55-meter dash, finishing 7th, stopping the clock in a time of 6:97. He would then run the third leg for the men's 4x200-meter relay team that won the only event for Thomas College on the day, clocking a time of 1:37.42. On the women's side, James finished 17th in a strong field of 200-meter runners, clocking a time of 30:36. Bermuda under-19 national basketball team fell 60-45 in their Heart Lake Winter Classic basketball tournament warm-up opener against Central Peel Secondary School. Bermuda captain Jarrell Smith led the way with 19 points. Friesenbrook Maya Continental Boating League action at the Work Lanes. It saw the Oddballs defeat the Invaders 18-12. Bermuda Pest Control defeated the Pinjammers 24-6, while Quickie Licky Laundry defeated the New Hope 21-9. The Nifty Rollers got by the Underdogs 22-8, and the Cubs defeated the Spice Nicks 18-12.
Tonight's sports has been brought to you by the all-new Boundary at Fairmount, Southampton, the West End's only sports bar. Catch all the action and enjoy smoked to perfection barbecue, beer, and other pub favorites. It's game on at Boundary.
I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
You can count on us.
Mixed pilo farine, just $3.99 a pound for your Christmas baking. New Zealand frozen whole lamb legs, only $4.99 per pound. Champion Seedless raisins, just $3.09 for a 12-ounce box. Coke, Barrett's Ginger Beer, or Sunkist Orange Soda for your holiday parties, only $5.85 for a 6-pack. For your Christmas trimming, Cross and Blackwell Piccalilli, just $5.49 for a 310-gram jar. Have a safe and Merry Christmas holiday from the Marketplace family.
You can count on us.
Bermuda has never experienced anything quite like the 35th America's Cup, a global event held on local shores with millions upon millions of people watching on TV. But this was more than a month of sailboat racing. It was a 3-year collective effort that reached into virtually every corner of our community, pushing our boundaries, expanding our vision, and leaving an indelible mark on those who lived and breathed this incredible national accomplishment.
All of us were sort of on eggshells going in saying, this is big, and are we going to be able to do this?
I put myself out there personally, but I think Bermuda also, we put ourselves out there as a country.
Peter Dormer basically said, 1 part sailboat racing and 9 parts everything else. He was dead on.
And of course, you can watch that tonight. And that's our newscast for tonight. I'm Diane Brewer. Thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.